Let me ask you something. You probably know roughly how much money you make every month. You know your rent, your groceries, your subscriptions. And yet, at the end of the month, the account is always somehow just about empty. It's not like you're buying yachts. You're not being reckless. You're just living. So where does it all go? Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody talks about. Most people don't have a spending problem. They have a system problem. And today, I want to show you a rule. One single rule, so simple a teenager can understand it, but so powerful that financial advisors have been quietly recommending it for decades. It won't make you rich overnight, but if you actually use it, it will change how money flows through your life. Let's talk about the 50-30-20 rule. Meet Rafi. Rafi is 27, works a decent job, earns a solid salary. He's not a bad person with money. He pays his bills on time, he buys coffee once in a while, he orders takeout maybe twice a week. Nothing crazy. But every month, Rafi checks his bank account and feels that same quiet anxiety. Why isn't there more here? He's tried budgeting apps. He downloaded 3 different ones, used each one for about a week. The problem wasn't motivation. Rafi is a motivated guy. The problem was that budgeting felt like doing his taxes. Too many categories, too much tracking, too exhausting. Sound familiar? Here's what Rafi was missing. He didn't need more complexity. He needed a framework, a structure simple enough to actually stick to, but clear enough to tell him at a glance whether he's on track or off the rails. That framework exists, and it takes about 30 seconds to understand. The 50-30-20 rule is this. Take your after-tax income, the actual money that lands in your account, and split it into 3 buckets. Needs, 50%, wants, 30%, savings and debt, 20%. 50% goes to needs. These are the non-negotiables: rent, groceries, electricity, transport to work, health insurance. Things that if you don't pay them, your life actually breaks down, not your comfort, your basic functioning. 30% goes to wants. This is the fun part: streaming services, dinners out, new shoes, weekend trips. Wants are the things that make life enjoyable, but they're optional. You could live without them, you just probably don't want to. 20% goes to savings and debt repayment. This is the part that builds your future: emergency fund, retirement contributions, paying off credit cards or student loans. This is the bucket that over time, quietly and consistently makes you wealthier. That's it. 3 buckets, 3 numbers. No 47-category spreadsheet required. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part most personal finance content skips entirely. Why do people fail at budgeting? It's not laziness. Psychologists have actually studied this. The answer is something called decision fatigue. Every time you have to make a decision, even a tiny one, you use up a little mental energy, and your brain has a finite amount of that energy each day. After a full workday, a tough commute, and 3 arguments over email, your brain is exhausted, and exhausted brains do not stick to 47-category budgets. The 50-30-20 rule works because it collapses hundreds of micro-decisions into one question: which bucket does this belong to? That's it. Your brain can handle that question, even on a Friday night when you're tired and tempted to order the 3rd round of appetizers. There's another psychological insight here. The rule gives you permission to spend. This matters more than it sounds. Most budgets fail because they feel like punishment. Don't spend here, cut this, sacrifice that. But with the 50-30-20 rule, 30% of your income is officially yours to enjoy, guilt-free. No shame spirals, no feeling like you failed because you bought a concert ticket. The rule accounts for the fact that you're a human being, not a savings robot. So let's talk about that 20%, because this is where the magic lives, even though it doesn't look like magic at first. Let's go back to Rafi. Say he earns $3,500 a month after tax. 20% of that is $700. Now, Rafi has some credit card debt, so he puts $300 toward paying that off aggressively and $400 into a savings account that he's building into an investment portfolio. $400 a month. That doesn't sound like life-changing, does it? It sounds like a gym membership and a few nice dinners.
But here's what happens over time. At a modest 7% annual return, which is roughly the historical average of a diversified stock index fund, that $400 a month becomes, after 10 years, around $69,000, after 20 years, around $208,000, after 30 years, over $484,000, from $400 a month, from one rule, from one bucket. This is what people mean when they talk about the quiet power of consistency. Wealth isn't usually built in dramatic moments. It's built in boring, repeating, automatic decisions that compound, slowly and then all at once. Okay, so how do you actually start? Here's exactly what Rafi did and what you can do this week. Step 1. Find your after-tax monthly income. This is your starting number. If your income varies month to month, use a conservative average from the last 3 months. Step 2. Calculate your 3 buckets. Multiply your income by 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2. Write those numbers down. That's your budget. Done. Step 3. Audit where you actually are right now. Look at last month's spending. Group everything into needs, wants, and savings. Don't judge yourself, just observe. You're diagnosing, not punishing. Step 4. Automate the 20%. This is the most important step. Set up an automatic transfer on payday so that 20% moves to savings before you ever see it. What the eye doesn't see, the hand doesn't spend. This is called paying yourself first, and it works because it removes willpower from the equation entirely. Step 5. Adjust gradually. If your needs are currently at 65%, you don't need to slash your life overnight. Reduce by a few percent each month. This is a direction, not a prison sentence. Here's the thing about the 50-30-20 rule. It wasn't invented by some genius. It was popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren. Yes, that Elizabeth Warren, in a book called All You're Worth. It's not complicated, it's not a secret, it's just a system that works because it's simple enough to actually use. The people who quietly build wealth over their lifetime aren't usually the ones with the highest salaries. They're the ones who found a system, trusted it, and kept going, even when it felt slow, even when it felt boring, even when life got expensive and complicated. Rafi figured this out, and 6 months in, for the first time in his adult life, he looked at his bank account and felt something he hadn't felt before. Not anxiety, not confusion, just calm. That's what a good system does. It doesn't just grow your money, it gives you peace of mind about money. And honestly, that might be even worth more. If you want to go deeper on how to actually invest that 20%, where to put it, what to avoid, and how to make it grow as fast as possible, that video is right here. And if you found this useful, subscribe. We make these videos every week, and next time we're talking about the one money habit that separates people who save from people who always mean to. See you there.